Yo, what's going on, Giga Chats? Welcome back, and today I will show you my build I came up with. I played on PTR Public Test Realm from Season 6. This build utilizes Dust Devils and the new Earthquake board, Paragon board, also the new Glyph and whatnot. But before we head into it, before I show you the footage, the builds I do, they're all on Mobalytics, and here you can also access and see other builds for other classes. Going into Season 6, tons of builds, tons of creators. You can search for community builds for from new, top, and trending for any class, even any season. And then you can also see meta builds for each of the classes. You will see soon some Spiritborn stuff as well. I will also try to cook something up, but yeah. Straight back to footage. Whirlwind Barbarian. Our main source of damage is Earthquakes. We also spawn them passively from the runes. This is a new system coming into Season 6. I really hope they will not remove these or nerf these so much they're not usable. So hopefully that's not the case. But this build has also very great sustain, very tanky. As you can see, my HP is not dropping. This is Pit T100, which is the maximum in the expansion. They lowered it from tier 200 to 100. There's a way, if you're wondering why am I not moving with Whirlwind, there's a way to make it so you're not moving, and that is why I have Intercom on my amulet. And we are still tapping Whirlwind to create as many Holy Bolts from Terrell as possible. Before we used to do that for spawning Dust Devils from the Whirlwind, but that was nerfed in Season 5. So you need to, I would like to call it like dig yourself in the corner. So you gotta keep pressing and tapping that Whirlwind while you aim into the texture, into the wall basically, and eventually you will just be stationary, like right here, for example. And it's a great way to activate that aspect intercom. And overall, in general, like there is a rune that gave you offering, so runes are working both as a gainer, which is giving you offering, and a spender, which spends offering. So if you're standing still, you will get offering. And with that, you could pair some great runes, some quick activations, because that was probably the best rune you could have gotten, which probably will get changed for the release, but we shall see about that. A great aspect here on the boots, I have pulling mobs together when I use Whirlwind, so a big fan of that. And also standing in Earthquakes gives you increased damage. I use that aspect, which is related to Ground Stomp on the two-hander. And also Ground Stomp is now a brawling skill thanks to the passive in the skill tree, and it makes mobs enemies vulnerable for 4 seconds. So I'm trying to spam that on cooldown, and also creates Earthquake. So that has become a very good ability, gives you Fury as well. And my goal for these builds, for this build as well, is to make non-stop uptime for Call of the Ancients, because they give you damage increase, they give you attack speed, and Whirlwind does scale from attack speeds since Season 5. And also it gives you a non-stop resource, which can get amplified by resource generation, just like Rallying Cry, for example. And also our Rallying Cry is the source for Fortify. And you can see the cooldown reduction is so ridiculous and so low that we have non-stop uptime on Ground Stomp thanks to the Martial Glyph. Call the Ancients likewise, and Shouts if there are more mobs around, same story. You can see Elites totally disappearing, getting deleted. Obviously this is endgame content, so this is also endgame build with the gear. 7 minutes left, I'll shift the build here. Hive Master, I would say that is not the best boss, but it'll do, right? I believe I had a Bramble before this one. So this was after Stat Squish, by the way. There is a Stat Squish happening going to expansion, but these numbers are the same like on Season 5, so not really sure what's gonna happen in the expansion. But I think it was due to strength or primary stats being just twice more than we were able to get in Season 5. I believe because the strength percentage, for example, on the amulet, Great Graphics, not Masterwork, actually triple Masterwork, Great Graphics strength percent on amulet was like 44% strength, which is insane. I actually tried to do a full strength Hellhammer build because of the dot from, the Hellhammer. For upheaval builds, I reached almost 7,000 strength. It was crazy, but the damage was still whack. Big satch. But you can also, in boss rooms, you can dig yourself into the corner, not moving at all, activating the intercom. The intercom icon is right here, so this is active. And yeah, you just keep tapping Whirlwind and whatnot, and that's pretty much it, right? Some good stuff. We still have like a lot of you got 6 minutes left in this run, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, it could be much cleaner. On the pools, I would like to do more pools, but in PTR you are lagging if you have too many mobs. So I'm gonna play this from the beginning, and I will show you in the planner what we got cooking, what we're working with. And we're also using dual wield Mobalytics, so max resource stacking. But let me quickly pull this on the screen. Pull it to the side so you guys can see the whole thing, right? The whole playthrough as well. Or like see the damage numbers and whatnot. There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, skill overview, call the ancients for the damage, attack speed, and fear regeneration. Whirlwind, our ability to trigger dust devils. Also the bolts from Tyrell's Might, triple shots for buffs, and also a source of reducing cooldown of our active abilities. And Groundstone to get vulnerable on the target and spawn earthquakes as well. I see, I talk about consumables here that you guys, there are 3 instances you want to use. There are like 3 types. So type 3 is Chorus of War. This unlocks at max level, I believe. Ancient Times is type 1, this is Strength, and a Spiral Morning is type 2 instant with attributes increase. For Potion, I ran with crit chance and crit damage in the footage, but you can also go with attack speed, which also increases lucky hit. But we don't really need a lucky hit with this build, so it's not too bad. Going over the gear, we got the classic Harlequin Crest for the cooldown reduction and damage reduction. Chest piece, damage reduction, amazing. Movement speed as well, great stuff, especially for Whirlwind. On the gloves, I go with elements, which means every 7 seconds, for 7 seconds, you'll get increased damage by 35%. By the way, they also increased all aspects in Season 6 by 5%, so everything's much stronger. Strength, crit chance, crit damage, damage to close. We want to max this out with Masterworks because of the new board. The earthquakes, damage increase, scales from damage to close, so I believe the number you needed was like 450%. I'm not too sure on that though. I think I forgot. It was high though. Airheads bearing ultimate damage, cooldown reduction. These dust devils also add to our dust devils. So with these ancients out, you will deal more damage. The problem is the ancient that leaves these dust devils behind, Talic Ancients, is getting bugged. Every time you press call the ancients and attack or cast a shout right away, you will so-called cancel the animation of the ancients, and this specific ancient will stop attacking. It will not attack at all, which means dust devils will not be active from him, which is pretty sad. But it's a known issue. Hopefully it will be fixed. On the boots, we go with the Grasping Whirlwind for pulling mobs together. Strength, max life, ranks to brawling skills. You would honestly be better off with movement speed instead of max life, but that's what I just had on PTR as the gear goes. Dust devil size, we might have put that temper on both gloves and the boots. They moved it to utility on armor, so that's some good stuff. On the two-hander, that's the earthquake aspect I was talking about. On the mace, we want strength, max life. I did happen to have greater FX on damage, so I just rolled with it. But you can go with great damage like on my other weapons. Chance for earthquakes to cast twice. You want to master it 3 times. It nets about 70% or something like that, I think, on the earthquake proc. And to cap out the Blood Rage, Paragon node, Legendary node in the Paragon, you only need the 1 damage while berserking on the two-hander, on top of some other stuff in the board especially. So I'll show that later. In the dual wield, we want to go with Fierce Winds, and this is where we also put Earthquake Duration. We are not fully, focused on dust devils because we would want to cap out the size here, which actually is not hard at all with the utility on these 2 pieces. To cap out this aspect. This aspect size, by the way, does stack with the utility tempers here. A lot of people are still mistaken about that. So crit damage, max life, strength, affixes on that. Damage to close, again, you gotta max this out. Another dual wield is Mobalytics, like I already said, stacking max resource. I do have that greater affix triple stacked. You wanna aim for, so the stat allocation, or like the priority on the sword is definitely the tooltip. You wanna have as close to 0.5% as possible, and then I would focus on the max resource and then crit damage. 200, we got the Grandfather, the good old classic damage masterwork. I tested both damage masterworks and then max resource. Max resource would probably make more sense stacking with Mobalytics, but damage just nets more damage. Yeah, simple as that. We got Starless Sky here, the classic triple masterwork on crit chance, so we are at 100%. Great for damage, great for resource reduction. And then ring here, we got Bolt Chieftain. This one is also increased by quite a lot, the aspect itself. That's why our cooldown for shots is amazing. Damage to close, once again, fully masterworked. Work rank cooldown reduction, crit chance, crit damage, strength, just like the gloves. And the amulet here, we go with strength percentage because it was a high number. Crit chance, counter offensive, then we get war cry, and again, damage to close. You can also triple masterwork close enemies to cap out the Paragon node, but I did not have RNG for that, and my hand was hurting from left clicking so many times on the masterwork on PTR because you had unlimited mats. I just gave up on that, right? That was the gear. Also, if you don't go into Season 6, you will not have access to purples, obviously. So instead of, if you don't have Harlequin Crest, you can go for Rakonov Boots for cooldown reduction, also cooldown reduction on the amulet. So you can sacrifice like either strength or counter offensive, it's up to you. And then also, excuse me, right here. And then also, instead of Grandfather, I've just put the 200 sword with Inner Calm on that, which means on the amulet, we would just put Devilish Aspect. Just swap it out with a 200 sword. Going over the skills, first up, we got some basic skills. It doesn't matter, just to unlock core skills. We only need 1 point in Whirlwind because we're scaling from Earthquakes and Dust Devils and not from the skill itself. And also, when it comes to chest piece, without instead of Tyrell's Might, you can go with Rage of Harrogath because this bleed will trigger the chest piece, so that's no problem as well. We go with Tempered Fury for extra increase right there. For Mobalytics, damage increase. Fully decked out Ground Stomp, again, it makes its brawling skill full vulnerable here, no problem. We go also increase HP, damage reduction, Rallying Cry for the 45 out here. We go trigger this Tough as Nail to trigger bleeding on the enemies that hit you from distance, right? And then we got Challenging Shout for the HP increase. Some good stuff. Warcry fully maxed out for damage. Go with this Power Warcry passive as well. Triple passes for shouts as well, very important. You're very tanky with Garliel, amazing defense layer when it comes to, like, you know, clearing mobs. Aggressive resistance, damage reduction while berserking, a Bell Fervor as well. I guess you could even, you know, sacrifice some points and don't even like have to dedicate yourself to so much damage reduction, but I kind of liked it. You can tank triple stacks on the boss room in the, you know, in the boss fight easily. Some more damage here from these two passives: Slaying Strike, Pit Fighter. Counter-offensive, extra damage again. Call the Ancients, we do not need to put 5 points in here, only 1, because these extra points would make it so they will deal more damage, which is fine, and more cooldown reduction, but I don't think we need any of those. I had better usage of those points. We got Invigorating Fury for some heal on top of Raid Leader, so our Tyrell's Might would proc more often. And then the classic Valop, that's why we have Mace in Dual Wield to proc this passive, it does work. And Unconstrained for extra damage increase. Extra DR, they kind of changed this passive. I don't find any of these passives any good, to be honest. Walk-in Arsenal could be pretty fun. I do have a Hammer of the Ancients build with Walk-in Arsenal from Season 6 PTR, which will be in the right upper corner. That's some very good stuff. And I also have 3 builds with Earthquake Barebones build. One is with Whirlwind, which is this one. The other one is Hammer of the Ancients that I also have on my YouTube in the right upper corner. And third one will be Mighty Throw that I have yet to publish as well, so expect that in the coming days. Mighty Throw is the new ability for Barbarian. Now the Paragon Board, the first one, the starter, we put Twister here. Very good board for strength, 90 points as you can see on this one. So this is what we got going. Second board, we go with a Decimator, as you can see. This one is amazing strength, probably the best strength board, so I put Rumble in here. And you want to focus on as many life nodes as possible on the way. On the right side, we got a new board. This one is called the Force of Nature. This is the one where it scales from damage to close enemies, so that's why I want to max it out. Extra HP here as well. You want to focus on Earthquake damage here and also Earthquake duration down here. Amazing board. I hope they will not change it that much. And here we have the new Cliff called Challenger. This one is damage increase with Modern Handers, which is pretty bad for 200 builds, but it's still being used though because it gives you bonus to all normal nodes within the range. So mind you, we were limited with Paragon points on PTR. As you can see, I have 71 points left. So you can put these extra points in these nodes, no problem, in these normal nodes, right? So that's also a possibility. On the left side, what we got a Warbringer for max resource again here to, you know, get your Mobalytics extra damage. Excuse me, let me hold it. Yeah, let me put it back to some different one here with Whirlwind. So I can see some extra. There we go. The glyph we put here is Wrath because it's amazing dexterity board, so you can max out the crit damage here. And also some extra HP again here and here. Amazing stuff. And the last board, here's Blood Rage to increase the damage while berserking. This one caps out at 300%. It's actually 296%, but it rounds up, so that's all you need. And to guarantee the cap for this node, you only need one temper on the 200, and the rest is actually taken care of these magic nodes because we put Marshall in here. And Martial increases bonus to magic nodes. So you want to take all the blue nodes over here. They're going to be increased by a lot, right? And extra points ahead were actually here in damage bleeding and elites. Some great cluster for damage increase. There's some more clusters for damage increase, but you know, we were just limited with points, so we couldn't really afford to do that. But yeah, I'll put some extra nodes down here, down below. So strengths and weaknesses, good AoE, great sustain, easy to play. I would say mobility is also great. If I didn't roll HP on the boots and movement speed, it would be much better. But going from pack to pack is also no problem because of Rallying Cry, extra movements increase, and we have low cooldown reduction on that. The only weakness is probably tapping Whirlwind. We still have to do it even after they nerfed the Dust Devils created from Whirlwind. That's why we initially tapped this ability. But we still have to do it for the Holy Bolts from Tyrell's Might. But it's like the only one, I would say. And you could say probably itemization. You probably need to heavily invest in the gears as well. Oh, and for the runes, there is still one rune missing in the database. It's a magical one. There should be the rune that spawns Earthquake. So I had this rune. Cast a skill with cooldown, which we cast this non-stop. You can see the shouts and abilities. So this was getting filled up non-stop. So we put auto Earthquakes here. And this is called Tech Rune, TEC. And the other pair on the Grandfather, we have Lith. This is the standstill for 0.3 seconds. That will generate your offering. And I do have, I believe, Petrify. This is amazing. This was the meta rune. There were two meta runes, right? There was Petrify that gives you increased crit damage to enemies that are stunned with Petrify. It's a druid ability. And second one was War Cry. But since we have that, we don't need that. But that was the two meta rune that everyone was running, which is kind of boring. I believe they will change something about this. But it was amazing rune either way. And it was proccing with this rune. It procs every 6 seconds, and I believe, or 7 seconds. No, every 6 seconds, and petrifies the same duration, so you have this up down stop on fights if you stand still, which is no problem with this build, right? In the pit. For the gems, the classic crit damage and the dual wheel, because we had runes. I put these runes, by the way, in two-handers. Not in armor, because in armor we want to get strength as much as possible because of the amulet stacking strength. So I sacrificed emeralds, 4 emeralds for basically 4 runes, 2 sets of runes, right? Although jewelry, it does not matter. We are capped with resistances thanks to Arid's Bearing and also Tyrell's Might. And with armor, we are also capped thanks to Harlequin's Crest. But I would still, I think you still need some skull in there, I think. So I would go with that. And lastly, the gameplay loop, aka the rotation. Call the Ancients always cast these first, so you get the buffs triggered and Fury Generation to cast Whirlwind. You want to do shouts after that to buff yourself, but also to trigger Martial Glyph to reduce cooldowns on your Call the Ancients, and then just ground stop your life away. You could probably do this first to reduce cooldown of this as well, but it's not really needed because ground stop is such a short cooldown that, yeah, it's just like 5 seconds or something. And then, yeah, just Whirlwind your life away. Yeah. And I believe that was pretty much it for the Whirlwind build for Season 6. I will probably be starting with this build on Barb. I'm still torn on what to play, Spiritborn or Barbarian, but anyways, I do stream every day on Twitch and YouTube. If you guys want to talk about some stuff, talk about Season 6 or the Barb builds, I would greatly appreciate that. But I would like to thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have a great one. Good luck in Season 6, and see you soon, hopefully. Until next time, peace.